Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Wow. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how the community needs to do it. Everything bad I said about him, forget it all. It's all, hey, water under the bridge. Everything's totally fine. All right. That's how you do it. Oh, man, I'm so pumped to be here today. Big show. Victory Monday. Championship Monday. College football playoffs Monday. I can't believe I'm saying it. Can't believe I'm saying it. Hey, Blake, the first year that Orange Bloods Live is on YouTube and this happens, coincidence? I think not. First season of Football with Friends, coincidence? I think not.
For the record, it wasn't. It wasn't. We knew this was possible. That's why we wanted to launch this thing.
Oh my God. It's just, we got a lot to get to today. It's a championship Monday. It's a college football playoff Monday. The transfer portal is opened. So look, I think one of the important things to look, we're gonna have a lot of time I'm not gonna have the complete breakdown of Washington today. It was funny. They asked Quinn Ewers yesterday at the post reveal availability, if they're like, so give us your detailed breakdown of the Washington defense. He's like, what? So these guys are gonna take some time off, and
I'd say they earned it.
Get a little bit of R&R, but we'll have plenty of time to get to Washington and all the rest. We got like a month to talk over this game. You're gonna be sick of hearing me talking about Michael Penix and Rome Odunze and all the rest of these guys before it's all said and done. But we do have transfer portal stuff. It opened today. There's a lot of stuff to get to with that. I thought maybe something we could do, a little exercise. Blake sent me over his most updated version of the scholarship board. I want to just go through that with everybody. And maybe we could give a grade, or not a grade, like a scale of 1 to 10, how badly, we'll kind of go through how these players have performed. We'll look at the deep dig. We'll see who's leaving. We'll see who we're projecting to leave, who we could project to leave via attrition, and then maybe assign a importance to each position, like where Texas should be looking. Because clearly, as these targets come open, people are going to say, Alex, should they look at this guy? Should they look at we need to figure out where Texas needs to be looking. There's some certain spots, some certain players that we know that they're already on. But, and we'll get to all that. I watched some of these guys today. I watched a lot of Deion Burks. Who, by the way, you might want to add that guy to your team if you have any opportunity to do so. To a less degree than the wide receiver Juice Wells. But we'll talk about that. A lot of talk also about the A&M kid Nolan. I mean, gosh,
monster player.
We'll talk about all those guys. Brandon Baker gets his fifth star with rivals. How is he going to fit in when he gets on campus? How does that factor into this recruiting class and the transfer portal and everything like that? We have Monday Night Football tonight as far as prize picks and all the rest. So we'll make sure and get that done. Just before I address the chat, just one thing. I was so late today just because I did get the defense done. So Football Junkie asked about that. I have the defensive rankings. It's an odd set of defensive rankings. It was odd. It was like Texas didn't even really need Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy to be as productive as they always are. They found ways to shut down Ollie Gordon, and they found ways to make Alan Bowman just be bad. And it was just something where Tavondre Sweat got his big Heisman moment with the big catch and stuff like that. But if you think back to the game, it wasn't like it was a total defensive domination from those guys like we've seen as far as those two in the front. But they'll certainly be needed moving forward. That much is for sure. God, I mean, I can't believe Texas is the Big 12 champs and they're in the college football playoff. It's just I want to talk about that. But all right, so we'll talk about the chat and stuff. But one other thing I didn't even tell Blake before the show is that I'm probably gonna have to get out of here a little bit early today. I got Blake. Can you go to Slack and get those pictures that I sent yesterday of my new dog?
Oh yeah, for sure.
My new dog Everett, a giant little 80-pound Great Pyrenees Anatolian Shepherd mix puppy. We welcomed him to the family yesterday. as I had to get up early and drive an hour and a half to some farm to pick up this dog, and got back just in time for answering a bunch of questions on my website. And there he is. Blow up that photo of that dog. Look at that. That's an 8-month-old little chicken garter dog, man. He's a good boy. But anyway, so we're putting in the electric fence, and it's just like there's some stuff that I have to do with taking him outside and being out there and training him during certain parts of this. And I think I might have to do that around 5. So that might be the case today and tomorrow.
Cool.
So we need to bounce out just a little bit early today. Nathan's saying it's a big animal. He's going to get a lot bigger than that. You know how much I care. I care about hand size. It's the first thing that I looked at whenever I went to go pick up
paws. Yep.
Oh God, dude, his paws are the size of my 8 and 7/8 inch hands. So
hey, real quick before we get started, also this ends tonight. The flash sale for Orange Blood's 50% off your first year annual sub. This is the best time ever to join.
Yep.
Best time ever.
Yep. So you can well, Black Friday would have been a good time, but this will be the best time that you'll get for the whole rest of the year. There's not going to be another one like this. It's sometimes like 2 free months, stuff like that. 50% off an entire first year. If you like, I was once somebody who took catch up on one of these offers back in 2005, I believe, for Ryan Paralou's recruitment, and the rest is history. Who knows? Maybe if you sign up, maybe in 18 years, you'll get talked into hosting a YouTube show with Blake and end up having a great audience and all the rest of this stuff. So
not just the playoff, but National Signing Day coming up. The transfer portal's cranking up. There's already a transfer portal thread going crazy on the board.
Oh, it's like it's already like 50 pages deep. So yeah, man, it's the biggest, most active message board, not only here for the Texas football community, but in all of college sports, I believe in all of sports. It's the largest. It's the largest and most valuable team site that there is. So go check out Orange Bloods. If you like this stuff, you'll never believe the community that we have there. It's a great way to interact with all of us. Okay, but what I was going to get to. Oh, wait. First, man, I got to say what's up to everyone here in the chat, dude. We got a bunch of you guys here in the chat. So Gringo Horn 65. So good to see you. Blake Winfrey. Oh yes. See the CFP. Oh gosh, the CFP is going to be fun as hell. Let's see. Text guy 2. Dude, this is good. He's right, because this whole month of December is going to feel like it did after Texas won the game versus Oklahoma State early in the day, right? And then all day you got your hay in the barn. You know what's happening with you. You get to sit back and watch these other teams and stuff like that. But the only difference being is that you're not puking up blood, so worried about what does this FSU thing mean? What does this mean about Alabama? Is there any way that the SEC is going to be able to say, hey, there's no way that we can't have an SEC team in here, and all the rest of it? It's like, all you're worried about is the fact that Texas is going to be playing against Washington in the Sugar Bowl, and you get to watch all these other games, kick your feet back, wait till New Year.
This feels more like 70-3 to me, Alex. Feels like that after that Colorado game, which was also on December 3rd, by the way, back in 2005.
Was it? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, dude. So, and we'll talk more about it, but I'm going to try and get a College Bowl pick'em going for us, and I'll put up a prize for the viewers and the listeners here on Football with Friends. So I'll get a link out to that. My buddy Byron, my business partner at Roster Watch, he has the Angel Fire app that he's rolling out this year. I mean, I'm crossing my fingers.
App is sweet, by the way.
That he'll get it done in time, but he said he put up a cash prize if we want to just for this show, and the chat and everybody, if we want to do a College Bowl pick 'em.
Byron's a good dude.
We'll get that done. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot of fun watching all this stuff. Here, let me say, Jay Ward, so good to see you, my friend. It is indeed a victory Monday. Tyler Finley, a championship Monday even. Gary Big Daddy Lewis, so good to see you, man. Golly, Hacker, great to see you, my friend. Cody Carpentier, of course. Man, Hacker, I know Hacker was pumped about this weekend. Jeez Christ, man. I was Hacker was texting me about every 4 plays of that game, man. He couldn't get enough of it, dude. I couldn't get enough either. C. Shearman, so good to see you. Logan P, Nathan, Richard Arias. Oh my goodness, it's so great to see you, man. Oh my goodness, he says we diff at friends, homies, vatos. It's true, man. We are we vat? Are we vat? Vato isn't a bad word, is it? I don't think so. I speak a lot of the Espanol. I think saying "Hey Vato," it's like "Hey friend." Sam Storm, so good to see you. Mitchell Marcus for sure. Blake May, dude, it's so awesome to see you guys. Money B is in the building. So happy for all you guys, man. So happy about this giant win, dude. This is a big day. Big day. Football junkie. Yes, we will have deep dig stuff today for sure. Anthony Hill, the most of course, he was going to be the most productive player on the team. Look at what he did. And I didn't even credit him for a sack. I didn't even credit him for that sack. You can't credit him for that sack. We're going to talk about that. Scott Parsons, Alex, shout out to Horns Volleyball in the Sweet 16 playing Tennessee Thursday night. Scott Parsons, come in here and give me some prize picks for that thing. Get a number of kills. Or
you think prize picks will have picks for that one?
Yeah. Hey, Alex, you can do deep dig for offense, defense, or all of Washington's games, right? Yeah. No, I won't be doing that.
All of Washington's
El Presidente. Look at what he's saying. He's saying, guys, sweet prices for Sugar Bowl are $75K. Last year, the national championship at SoFi was $55K. These prices are nuts. Look at that. $75K for a box suite. I have friends going, and like I don't typically go to these games, but all my college friends, of course, start, and I'm sure it's the same thing for all of you guys, right? All your college friends are, they're, or heck, I'll bet you a lot of you guys, might not have even gone to college, but like all your buddies from whatever it was that are Longhorn fans with you. For me, I just happened to make those friends while I was at UT. They're all texting it back and forth saying, hey man, like, how are we going to get tickets, all this stuff? Dude, Blake, I'm not sure what you've heard. Tickets that, from what I've heard, is like they're talking $1,250, $1,500 and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Well, I had TCU friends that went to the national championship game in the semifinal last year, and they were telling me the ticket prices for those games, and they were absurd in the thousands. And this is going to be even crazier because it's Texas. It's Texas in New Orleans and Texas in Houston if they win. And both those are going to drive crazy demand.
I'm telling you, man. We're going to talk about all this stuff, man. I can't believe it, dude. I mean, I can't believe it.
The suite here is like what, 25 people? How many people can you get in a suite? Something like that, maybe?
I mean, if you crowd them in like sardines, well, just think about it. So, the only experience that I have with these suites is from the NFL Combine, where I get to watch from the PFW suite in Lucas Oil, and that is the actual seats that go down, like how there's the actual suite, and then there's like a row of seats that goes down, and so that's 4 rows with 5 seats on each side. So
20.
Like no, it's like 40 people that can be there.
5 rows
in that area.
Side.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to squeeze in like is it 4 or 5 on each side? I think it's 5.
Well, either way, and then you got standing room, right? So 50
people. Then back behind it, you got a room where you got your little kitchen area where you can get water and stuff, and then you can have a little table in the middle where the service people come and put the different chafing dishes with the food and stuff in them. I would think probably, I don't know, maybe 20 people can stand around in there. It probably start to get pretty packed. But even if you go in, 50 ways on that thing, you're coming out on top because regular tickets are going to be over $1,000 anyway. So if you're paying a little bit, if you're paying $1,500 a person to get in a suite, I think. But the type of people that buy suites don't want to just pack in like sardines and have it to be like. I think optimally you'd want it. The most you'd want is where everybody could have a seat if they wanted to sit for the game, and then they can just go back up there and mill around to get food and beers and stuff like that in the main kind of common area.
Oh, it's kind of on topic with the theme of the day as well, flying versus driving to New Orleans.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. I mean, because Anwar's on here on Slack talking about how Southwest Airlines, it can't, there aren't any flights left. There's none left from Austin. And I think it's mainly the return flights, the next day coming back from New Orleans to Austin and or San Antonio. Look, I mean, return flights from New Orleans are not going to be super cheap on the day after New Year's any day. It's like they won't be super cheap the day after Mardi Gras ends any day. But now you you put this in, and I was just like, man, I'm like in Slack. Ketchum almost said it's a joke. He's like, you can always drive. He's like, it's not that bad, and kind of like did a rolling eyes emoji or whatever it was. Ketch said,
No. Here's the deal, Alex. Driving is great, and I've made tons of trips to New Orleans. Here's how you do it. You split it into 2 days. You leave a day early,
and then stop at Harrah's or
Lake Charles.
Lake Charles, yeah.
And you stop there at the Golden Nugget or the L'Auberge and party for a night, and then finish the drive the next day. And then you can do the same thing on the way back.
You don't even have to do that on the way back. I mean,
you can go straight through as well. It's not that bad of a drive.
Blake, I've left Senior Bowl practice at 5 p.m. in Mobile and gotten home by like 3 a.m. It's like it's not that it isn't that difficult.
No, but they have sports books in Louisiana.
Once I get to the turnoff down to New Orleans, I feel like I'm home free. It's like, for real. It's not. It really isn't that big a deal. So anyway, we have so many people. Harish,
super chat from,
good to see you. Harish says we beat the Cockamamie Committee, the best victory Monday ever. I have thoughts about that too, but let's get to the super chat. Man, there's a lot to get to today, man. I'm pumped up, dude. All right,
pull up that super chat. I'm gonna grab the photo it's referencing real quick.
What is the super chat? I don't know.
Here it is.
Okay, super chat. Oscar Elizondo. The smartest soon to be rich man in all of Orange Blood's history. 499. Sorry to everyone hearing this again, but I need to let Alex know. Met Cooper Manning at the game. Told him you were alpha, and that old friends is fun as hell. All right, dude, that's how you do it, man. Oh gosh, look at this. Oscar Elizondo, man.
Look at this jacket that Cooper Manning is weaing. That is the most badass thing I've ever seen.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Y'all think Arch is going anywhere? No.
No.
Absolutely not.
You don't invest in that kind of jacket, man. You don't, if you think that you're going somewhere. Golly.
Very cool. Very cool.
Excuse me, man. The sun's coming through. Blasting my sinuses. Hopefully that won't cause my nose to bleed. I keep getting these nosebleeds, man.
No.
All right. Let's see. Nathan, so good to see you, my friend. All you guys in the chat. Golly, man. Hey, Blake, dude, I'm having a bit of an allergy attack. Let's just go to break real quick. We'll come back next.
I'll find the guy who sent it. Here it is, right here. Angry Hammer Jason wanted to know any recruiting impact to this class. What about the next class?
Well, that's on my agenda. As soon as we're done with this video, I'll be working the phones today, Angry. But, I don't know that it'll have a huge impact on this class. I mean, obviously the committed guys are going to be excited, and, maybe it helps secure a guy like Jarrett Gibson and get him, kind of lock him back in. There really aren't a lot of remaining targets in this class. So I think if it's going to have an impact, I think it probably spills over more into that 2025 group than it does 2024. Does it help them maybe flip Xavier Filsaime, someone like that? I mean, listen, it can't hurt, obviously, but it's not like Texas has the room right now for some influx or a wave of recruits to start just jumping on board. But for 2025, yeah, listen, man, we've said it for years. If Texas is kind of a sleeping giant, once they start winning, this recruiting will take off like a rocket ship. I mean, they recruit well anyways, but when you got a college football playoff to sell, absolutely, it should impact. I'd say a little bit of impact, over the next couple of weeks, but moving forward for that 2025 class, I think it has a big impact.
Keep an eye on the portal. That may be maybe even more so than for 2024 anyway. It may impact. I get the sense that there's a lot of people that are calling Texas that aren't even in the portal yet. This could help them really get a bang-up class, knowing that Texas will be poised, even though they'll be rebuilding and they lose a lot from this team. If they bring Ewers back, I mean, they'll be a top 10 team going into the country next year, I think, with the presence of that alone. And Texas will have a loaded young roster. It may be unproven in some areas, but I think they'll get the benefit of the doubt, especially if they perform well coming into the playoff against Washington. I think things look good right now.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
Oh, yes. Thanks so much to Specs for being such a great sponsor, bringing us the Specs chat line, the Specs chat box, whatever it is, man, where we interact with you guys over here, man. Looks like we're starting to get some Washington fans in here. You guys don't have a football with the football with Washington friends? You can go watch.
This is an awesome comment, Alex, because he doesn't reference. Well, he references remember the Alamo Bowl, but we remember the Alamo here in Texas, and that was a loss.
Yeah, man.
We came back and won that war.
Yeah, man. Because then we had the Battle of Gonzales.
That's right.
Right.
Come and take it, baby.
Yeah, man. So yeah, just hey, we always remember the Alamo around here, especially on this God-fearing program for sure. Let's see. I think we had a super chat, and then I just want to remind everybody, if you're a Washington fan, hey, great to have you here. It's a different team than last year. I'm going to talk about some of the things Sark said at his post availability, but definitely a different team than last year. But if you're a Washington fan, it's fine, man. It's just like the show, subscribe to the channel. We'd love having all you guys here, man. It really does help us out, though. If you do while you're here, like the show, subscribe to the channel. You're from Washington, so you're probably very, 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 very tech savvy. You know that it's definitely free to like the show. So you get that done for us, man. Yeah, we say the more the merrier.
I'm excited to have some different viewers from different teams popping in.
Yeah.
Bama fans, we talked to Kyle Henderson on House Divided today from the Bama football YouTube channel. It's gonna be fun. Playoffs.
Do you think they deserve to get in?
Well,
let's talk. I mean, I'm sure this has been talked about. People have been hearing this the whole time, but I haven't given my take on it. So I'm going to give my take on it. But let's check out the super chat real quick. Oh my gosh, Money B, $10. It's fun, dude. We're having fun. It's football with friends is fun as hell, dude. It is fun today. So thank you for the super chat, Money B. Sark and PK were in their bags Saturday. Not sure what has occurred, but Sark has been dialing things up since the second half of Iowa State. I mean, I'll tell you what's happened, dude. It's for one, Texas Tech, Tech stinks. And Oklahoma State, they got organic. Well, not always organic, because the one time they did bring Jade Barron, but it was a whole lot of organic pressure versus Bowman. And it wasn't even the kind of pressure that you have to get versus a guy like, say, Dylan Gabriel, who I can't do. That's another thing I need to write down. We need to talk about Jackson Arnold time starting. And just how the world is about to change with this. It's getting weirder every year, Blake.
Yeah, we'll have to get into the portal here in a bit.
But the Jackson Arnold, like that whole deal is getting started, and like they're going into the SEC with their freshmen, or they're not their freshmen, but their their guy that's the stud that's sort of in the waiting in the same way that like an Arch Manning is right now. But yes, thank you so much, Money B, dude. We definitely appreciate it. And like I said, it wasn't with giant contributions from Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy. They played fine. They held up. They got their run fits, but it was like Ollie Gordon was kind of tough he was kind of scared to run it up in the middle. He was just kind of, and so they didn't even generate as many run stuffs as I would have thought. I figured he would kind of try and run up A gap, get to that cutback lane like D-Hawk was talking about, an inside zone where playing off that backside tackles, his little hinge block there, like he was talking about, and that wasn't what he did. He would, like, the cutback lanes just weren't there, and so they didn't even have the opportunity to make run stuffs and stuff like that. Anthony Hill was just he just did exactly what he always does. Linebackers played really well. Malik Muhammad played just really, really well. It was a complete team. It was a complete team thing. It was a complete team thing. I can't wait to watch the offense. I thought, from what I could tell, Calvin Banks just played like a total G. So we'll see about that. I saw a few hiccups from DJ Campbell. So I don't know if that's going to be over the course of the whole game, but man, it's going to be tough though with the offense to have it ready by tomorrow, because I think they ran whenever they showed the number of plays, at one point they were at like 70 something plays somewhere in the third quarter. I'll bet you this was a 95 play game, so it's going to be a little bit tough to get that all done tonight and tomorrow. But we'll see if we can do it. Just as far as the CFP, my thoughts were I began to quit sweating it quite as much. Whenever the sportsbook odds started coming out later that
I did the same thing. I was staring at those odds all night long.
Yeah, and it began to become a little bit obvious that the talking points from the people who seem like they'd be in the know, the people who would generally float the trial balloons, the Kirk Herbstreets. I'm talking about the big power brokers, right? Not the Booger McFarlands. You know what I mean? Not the Sam and the Emmanuel Achos. Like I'm talking about like Herbstreit, Chris Fowler, these kinds of guys, where they started saying, look, this is gonna be tough. You know, there's gonna that's the way it's gonna be. This year it presents a pickle unlike we've seen ever, but the closest thing being 2014. And it's the kind of spot where, you know, they went away from resume and went straight to the best teams right now. And the reason that I knew that not that the fix was in, but that the committee was leaning towards, even on Saturday night, and it probably began to set in whenever they were just watching that putrid FSU Louisville game. And I was even tweeting out. I mean, I was saying like, dude, yeah, college football fans want more of this. I mean, they want more of this, right? People are dying to see this team.
I've never had so many group chats going off at once, other than like the last 5 hours of college football on Saturday night.
But I was telling my wife, you know, they're talking now like Texas is in, because here was the thing about Bama, and when the SEC stakeholders got into this discussion, and I was in the room, but I'm fairly sure that this is how it happened. These power brokers in the SEC, Sankey, all these guys, they knew that their argument had a terrible inherent flaw in it to say that Bama gets in and FSU gets in, because then Texas gets left out, and they know that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It can't work. Logically, it can't work. Mm-hmm. So whenever you started hearing that Texas, the Fowlers of the world, the Herbstreets of the world start talking about Texas as the 3, and then how Bama is playing better right now, and they just beat this Georgia team and all the rest of this, and you got to put them at 4. But it almost seemed like the 1 and the 2 were locked in. By the time I went to bed at midnight, 1 a.m., whatever it was on Saturday, I was thinking to myself, all right, for one, I gotta get to bed, because I gotta wake up early as you know what, to get out there and go pick up this giant 8-month-old dog, and then get back home in time to answer the questions on Roster Watch, and to watch this show, and to get ready for the NFL Sunday, right? So wake up the next morning, look at the sportsbook odds. Texas is now like minus, they're minus 350 to minus 550, depending on where you looked.
Well, I'll tell you, immediately after the Louisville-Florida State game, I was keeping a close eye on this. They were minus 180 to make the playoff, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. They're favored to make it. Like, I'm feeling pretty confident about that. And then when I went to bed, after midnight, it had reached that 350, 400 range. And I woke up early in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock, and it was minus 750. And I'm like, oh, well, they know.
Yeah. Well, I guess it got to minus 750 while I was driving, but like I didn't ever see it that high. But it I was like, all right, so what's happened now is the narrative is set in that people are saying, oh, Texas is at 3. The discussion now is between Alabama and Florida State. And I was kind of, what I've been talking to my wife about is like, if Florida State doesn't get in, I mean, here's the thing. If Texas was in Florida State's spot, mm-hmm. I would be livid. I would be on this show today with the red rear like you wouldn't have believed. Like I would say, burn it all down. Like, I'm not watching any college football. That would be a total lie. But I would say like I'm not watching it this season or this postseason. It does seem fair. They won all the football games. They won them. I mean, Texas has used the excuse that some of the bad games that we had was with the backup quarterback. They got it done with a backup quarterback and with the third team quarterback, and that should say something, right? It feels to me like it's unjust and it's not fair that Florida State didn't get in, but in the end, I don't care because Texas is in, and however that needed to happen. And I think that the way the way it happened is the SEC coming in here and saying like, look, man, you wouldn't want it to happen to where we don't take part in this whole thing, do you? Like, if we're not going to be able to play the best of the best and do all this stuff, I'm not sure we need to be part of this, and we can go ahead and have our own tournament, take our ball and go home, this kind of stuff. And when you start considering that, it's like, well, how can we put in Bama if we don't put in Texas?
Correct. So, Texas had to be in for Bama to have a chance.
Yeah. So, man, like I said, feel terrible for FSU. It doesn't matter though. Doesn't matter. I'm not saying. I'm just like, Texas is in too. I can't believe it.
But Alex, I said this last week. I forget on what show, but it kind of works out for FSU here. They don't make the playoff, but if they were to pull off a miracle in this last game, they can claim a national championship without having to play in the playoff and put up a banner and do the whole
UCF deal.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel quite as good, Blake.
No, but they would have gotten smoked in the playoff.
It's not a real banner,
Sure, but they're going to get smoked in the playoff.
They're going to get smoked by Georgia.
If Georgia wants to be there, Alex, I'm not sure they will.
Man, do you know what I heard? I was listening to one of these college sports radio things when I was driving out to pick up this dog, and it was Rick Neuheisel and Tom.
I was listening to that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And what Neuheisel was saying, and I thought it was a good enough take, was that Rodemaker is going to be totally fine by then, right? Their FSU second team quarterback, he'll be totally fine by then, and he's going to basically have a whole. I mean, dude, we have a month. He has a whole fall camp plus some to be able to get ready for one football game. It's going to be a whole different quarterback than anybody ever expected. It wasn't like you're going to see that true freshman again. You're going to see a guy with a little bit more seasoning who now has had a whole month of practice and stuff. And everybody, I mean, the committee can't take that into consideration. And politically, there was so much pull in these guys in these two different ways, So I think it would have been hard to leave out the SEC. And part of me was like, part of me was thinking, FSU should get in. The other part of me was thinking like, well, why have I been so happy that Texas is going to the SEC and about this increase in competition and all that? It's like I'm talking out both sides of my mouth here to saying that the SEC should be completely left out of this just because Alabama and Georgia, two of the best teams that there are out there, had to go head to head and one team had to come out on top, right? And it wasn't like it was a blowout. It was like it was a close game, dude. It's a close, hard fought battle. It was tough, man. So
I think the video on the Michigan football team watching the 4 seed being revealed says it all.
They're just kind of like, oh,
they're standing up like, oh, it's gonna be FSU and it's Bama. Oh no.
Yeah, man, I felt bad. I haven't even seen any of the interviews with Norvell since this happened. I haven't gone to seeking them out because I feel terrible about like what is he? Is he just saying this is BS?
Their folks have been putting out statements, like the AD, the head of the conference, some politicians have been putting out statements, but I haven't seen any interviews.
Yeah, if I were him, and like they had that doofus with the. So, coach, what do you think about getting left out? Like I would have said, dude, I'm not talking to you right now because they had reporters at every location, right? Right, and Ricardo V saying, remember, it was the alliance that blocked the playoff from expanding this year. So FSU missed because of that, right? So
the alliance is one of the most cockamamie things college football ever put together.
And look, but here's the thing: you couldn't leave Texas out because what Sark said yesterday at his he said a couple things that I thought were interesting. One, just as it relates to this, Texas can play with anyone. Texas can play with anyone. Legit play with anyone. And I know we have Washington fans in here. Look, I think your football team's good. I know you're not going to say that you think Texas is good and stuff like that, but Texas is good. You know Texas is very good. And I know that Washington's good. And I do think that Washington, I mean, they have Penix and they have Rome. Mm-hmm. And Rome is going to be very, very, very hard to stop. He's not a good matchup for Ryan Watts.
Mm-hmm. Derek Williams is going to miss the first half of that game, by the way, because of a targeting call on the kickoff.
Well, I mean that stinks, but I think it's and we'll probably have a whole show where we break down the significance of that. Again, guys, if you could please like the show while we're here doing this, we would certainly appreciate it. We're going to be on for about another hour, and we certainly need to get those number of likes up, or else I'm going to get my pay. Me and Blake both actually get our pay docked from Jeff Ketchum for every like that we get under 100. So if you guys could please click the like button, as long as you're not driving, But I think that represents just a unique.
This has been real quick, Alex. People have been saying this. I don't know if it's which part is factually true. Some people are saying he won't get suspended until the first half of the first game next year.
Oh,
but I feel like I haven't seen anything official on that.
I mean, can you Google it real quick? Just
look. People have been looking it up. I haven't seen anything on it. I haven't seen anything official anyway.
I mean, for me, I'm trying to think. I guess I didn't think about that. Whether it's because that wouldn't make, because what if he was a senior?
Exactly. Then he wouldn't have been penalized at all.
Okay. So I don't know exactly how that works. I think they would be fine without him for just play Taff and Jaron Thompson for one half, right?
Where he gets to defer that. Maybe he can defer it. I don't know. Maybe that's possible.
I have to look into
that'd be good for Texas, but
if you're a senior, are you not allowed that same deferment because there's nothing left to defer it to?
See, this is the thing. Cody says on 3 says it's the CFP game, and then Sandman says he's the option to set out week 1 in 2024. So
we need to look into that. We need to look into that so we can make sure and get it right. That was not, to be completely honest, guys, that was nothing that I had ever even considered. I didn't even think I just figured he was out. I just thought you get targeting. You have to miss the first half of the next game as long as it occurs in the second half. And how unlucky it was for D Will that it occurred on the very first play of the second half. So he legit has to miss one full game. Hopefully it's not going to be this week. But Sandman's saying so it's an NCAA appeal.
So if he appeals and then he loses that appeal, he can push it to week 1. That's what Sandman's saying.
Well, I would certainly prefer to have him have him out for week one of next season.
Yeah,
for sure. No doubt. I mean, Williams is arguably one of Texas's best safeties, and he's been getting better and better and better. But dude, I mean, I know it doesn't feel the best thing. It doesn't feel the best to hear. It doesn't make you the most pumped up to hear that Michael Taff has actually been good. He's been good, and Jaron Thompson's been fine. So I think it's fine. Keaton Crawford has been Crawford's been bad, but I mean, look what he did in this last game. He was his snaps per production in this game was insane. Dude, Keaton Crawford, 10 snaps, one giant interception, one missed tackle. Such a Keaton Crawford line.
Very Keaton Crawford.
Right. All right. So Blake Winfrey says, if the foul occurs in the second half of the last game of the season, players with remaining eligibility shall serve the suspension during the postseason or the first game of the following season. Okay.
It just says or. What does that mean? How does it get decided?
Maybe you can choose.
Is it a choice or is it or because if they don't have a postseason game?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, dude, this is all brand new to you. This is all brand new to me. If you're looking to me for insight about this, I don't know how this works. I'm seeing all this for the first time.
So
I just assumed.
Catch email Bianco, so maybe we can get an answer there.
Greg,
we'll let you know if we do.
Greg McAllister keeps saying that Air Penix will eat the Longhorns.
We've been talking about Air Penix the whole show.
Yeah, man. Look. What do you plan on doing? Hey, I have a question for Greg McAllister. What do you plan on doing against Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy? What are you planning on doing against Anthony Hill? What are you planning on doing against Adonai Mitchell and Xavier Worthy? What are you planning on doing against a 1-2 punch of CJ Baxter, a 5-star, and Jaden Blue, who would have been a 5-star if not for all the stuff that happened at the end of his high school career? What are you planning to do against a Senior Bowl right tackle, a right guard who's playing like a guy who could leave after his very next season as junior year, a future top 10 left tackle, a seasoned veteran center, one of the best offensive line that we've seen here since at least 2013. You know, Quinn Ewers isn't chopped liver. You know, what are you planning to do? How are you going to stop it? Is it just all Penix? Because that's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. Okay. But here's the thing. Washington's still good. I'm not saying they're not
comparing it to the 2022 Alamo Bowl.
Okay, well, I mean, let's go ahead and compare it to the 2022 Alamo Bowl, where Texas had to have Keelan Robinson running in between the tackles, running right into Jake Majors' rear end because everybody was hurt, or because Bijan sat out the game, Roschon sat out the game, DeMarvion Overshown sat out the game, Keandre Coburn sat out the game. I can't even list all the guys that sat out that dang game, right? Like Sark said this year, they're like no one's sitting out this year. no one's sitting out this year. It's like these guys are jumping around the facility saying, dude, we did it, man. Like we've got it. Like no one's sitting out this year. You got to play. Here's the thing for Greg Washington. Texas is probably going to have 13 players at the NFL Combine this year, and you're playing against every single one of them. And you keep talking about Air Penix. Do you know how many players last year that Washington team played against that went on to the NFL Combine? It would have been Moro Ajomo, I think, played, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year you got JT Sanders, you got Adonai Mitchell, you got Xavier Worthy, you got Christian Jones, you've got Jatavion Sanders, you've got you won't have Jay Brooks, but he will be at the Combine. You have Byron Murphy, you've got Tavondre Sweat, you've got Jalen Ford, you've got Jade Barron, you've got likely Ryan Watts. I think Watts will get a Combine invite, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many of these guys. That are going to get Combine invites this year. It's going to be like that Ohio State year, where every single reporter there is just going to finally realize, like, how many guys does Texas have here? I'm going to start writing stories about this. Oh my God, Ohio State's got 14 guys here. They got 14 guys. Oh my God, look, I didn't know that they had this much talent. And look, this is going to be a problem for Texas when we start talking about the transfer portal stuff. This could be an issue for Texas refilling all these spots, right? But here's the thing, Greg, you have to deal with it right now. You and Air Penix, you have to deal with it right now. You're gonna get you can have all the Air Penix that you want.
Air Penix can't even watch his own defense.
Why does he do that? Such a cockamamie thing. It's just. Yeah, and so you're gonna have to deal with those guys. It's not gonna be like you act like it's gonna be easy. Air Penix is gonna come in here and wreck them. Are you kidding me?
That said, though, man, it's gonna be a great game. It's gonna be
Texas opened up. You're acting like Washington's favored. Washington's an underdog. What 4.5 points? I mean, come on.
I respect him coming in 1 versus 200 people in the chat. Trying to ride it out.
200 people in the chat, man. If you guys please could like the show, subscribe to the channel, we certainly appreciate it. Also, if you have questions for me, if you're interested in getting any information to me that you'd like us to put up on the screen, or any photos, any stuff. Oh, dude, I think Jay Ward might have sent something over the weekend. Blake, did he?
Jay Ward is always sending.
Maybe
stuff.
he did. We can check that out. But yeah, man, if you guys could just make sure and email me there, alex@rosterwatch.com. Also, if you're interested in sponsoring the show, man, certainly would love to talk to you. If you have any goods, services, or anything that you'd like to send my way, I'd be happy to promote them. Is this from my backyard over the weekend? Mm-hmm. Check this out from my Moultrie camera. Look at this deer, man. He's a good looking buck. Here, can you make it a little bit bigger so you can see him right when he walks in? He's nice. What do you think? He's 2.5? That's a good buck, man. That's the one that I want coming back.
Yeah.
Young. Look at that. That's a 2.5-year-old dog. Like, he's gonna be big.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Give him a couple of years.
Yeah. Good looking buck.
Oh yeah, super chat.
Okay, super chat 199. Michael Taft game-winning pick 6. Book it. Oh gosh, I would love to see it. Gosh, I would love to see
that would
it.
be great.
Those Westlake boys, man, they can make the plays in the big clutch times. Ethan Burke, a big fumble recovery on the fumble caused, of course, by Anthony Hill. But yeah, but like I was saying, Washington's good. Texas can come. Texas. Jay Ward says, "Come, let me take." No, man, we got to keep that thing. We want to keep that thing.
No, he's too young, Jay Ward. Give him a couple of years.
The Texas could play with anyone. Texas beat that Alabama team at Alabama, and as dusty a thing that is to say, and as recycled a take that is to say, it's true. 1, and for 2, the committee got it right. The committee got, if they put in Alabama and they put in Texas and they got it right. Texas fans a lot of times have a bit of a battered fan syndrome. I can understand why. Texas has been putrid. There's nobody that understands it better than I do. God, Blake, I have to do for years, dude. For years. I used to do the Deep Dig live. Do you remember that? Like, were you on Orange Bloods whenever I did that? Mm-hmm. There was this app called Periscope. And I would just turn it on and I would put it. It was my old house in East Austin. And I would just stick it up, and the camera would be pointed at my TV, and I had a pencil, right? And sometimes I go up here and I just talk about it. I grade out the play. I'd be like, all right, he gets 0.5, he gets 1, he gets all this. And I would just do it like that, right? And there was a maniacal group of people that actually tuned in and actually watched this. And those people will tell you that whenever in 2015, what year would have that been? Because my daughter was born. So yeah, we're talking back in 2013, 2014 is when I was doing this live. And the people who would watch that would tell you, dude, I would literally I would take my pencil and just throw it at my own television. I'd yell and I would just leave the room, not to be heard from for 20 more minutes, because I'd have to go out in the back, and I guess it wasn't Rogue Products back then, but I would have to go chill out, man. I'd be like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't understand what's even going on here. What is this mess? I can't even identify a run cons. I don't even know what the concept is. What are they even trying? You got this guy acting like he's like it's a zone play. This guy acting like he's trying to pull. What is all this? He's the uncovered guy. He's not the uncovered guy. What are they doing? I throw the pencil. I've seen bad, man. Dude, I've seen bad. We've all seen bad. And so I think that a lot of Texas fans would be like, man, it's kind of hard to believe Texas is but no, it's not. Texas is one of the top 4 teams in the country. They can play with anybody. And the fact that Georgia was thought of as this team that's way up on high, and I know that it's transitive property, and I know the transitive property does not it doesn't compute, right? Whenever you talk about college football or any football wins, right? Just because one team beat the Rams beat the Seahawks, so of course the Seahawks are going to beat of course the Rams are going to beat the Vikings because the Seahawks beat the Vikings, right? And so if the Rams beat the Seahawks beat the Vikings. Well, of course the Rams are going to be I know it doesn't work like that, but you kind of have to think about it when you go and beat a team like Alabama, what you show is that you're in their tier, that's that, right? Alabama and Georgia are in that tier. It's the top tier of college football, and so the fact that Texas was able to just find them, I'm still kind of stunned. To me, it's and it's not because I don't think they don't deserve it. It's just man. I legitimately didn't come into this season thinking that this would be I saw this as a top, is it a top 5 or is this a top 1% outcome, Blake? I mean, it's no more than a top 5% outcome to be on to the
because they've been underperforming for so many years. This is where they should have been.
No,
Yeah,
Blake. Like
I
it
think
was
so.
through
With
no.
the amount of talent on this team,
We didn't know that. We didn't know.
sure
We
we
didn't
did.
know that Devondre. No, Blake.
We looked
did
at
not know
those
that
super
Devondre-
blue chip numbers before the season. We said this should be. That's
But
how
Blake,
good
so
they
many
should
of those
be.
super blue chips are guys so many of those are guys who weren't proven, and there've been so many over the past few years that it feels like Texas has missed on, and it's like they were young guys, and then you got guys who were non-super blue chip guys like Tavondre Sweat, like Byron Murphy, like the guys who you're getting these incredible Christian Jones, you're getting these incredible contributions from. That it all came together and coalesced in a way to where over the course of the season it began to become something that you could see in your mind's eye. But to start the season, no, like to start the season. Isn't it funny that a lot of fans probably would have swindled themselves before the season and taken some kind of deal to say like, yes, I would take a 2-loss season in a Big 12 championship. They would have.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, just be honest. I mean, like, would you have?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
and you'd have swindled yourself. Texas wouldn't be in the CFP.
Right, but this is what they should. That's not my point, though. The overall Texas football program is in a state where it should be competing to be in the playoff. This is where they should. That was my point. With this roster, this coaching staff, this is one of the best coaching staffs ever assembled. You go piece by piece. Incredible. I mean, taking partly from Alabama, partly from Washington. PK, I just love that hire from the very beginning. But this, from top to bottom, this coaching staff is amazing. This roster is amazing. Yeah, absolutely. This team should be in the playoffs, and they are. And that's full credit to Sarkisian. The development he's done with the Herman guys that you were just talking about, the 3 stars, and also bringing in a load of badass freshmen like Anthony Hill.
Yeah,
and
man.
Pulling guys from the portal, too. Let's not forget Quinn Ewers from the portal, Adonai Mitchell from the portal.
It's impossible to forget,
Yeah.
And we got portal stuff because they're going to need to do it again. The good news is there's some G's, though. There's some G's, man. I get sick watching Deion Burks, dude. I mean, I get sick watching this guy. I want Texas to get him more than I want almost any of these others, unless we're talking about the D-line kid from A&M, who I do think Texas is going to be in on him. Everybody's saying Tennessee because he's from there, but he's from way, way across the state. It's almost like whenever I looked at where he's from, it feels like it's probably closer to go to like Ole Miss or something, Starkville, or do you know what I mean? That's closer to home than Tennessee is. And we're gonna talk about that guy Nolan for sure. But something else that Sark said that I thought was interesting. He's like, what I love about us making the CFP. Clearly, what he loves about it is that he's making the CFP. He's gonna get some sweet bonus money, and he's probably now at this point. My wife was asking. My wife was asking one of my they were saying, well, now that he's in the CFP, are you still you still don't want to extend Sark? I was like, man, kind of makes a little bit of a difference, right?
Give him a raise, don't extend him. He's got 3 years left on the deal.
Yeah.
Give him a big raise. He's going to make some money off of this.
I think I'm still on the give him the big raise, and I've always been on the give him the big raise train, right? Yeah. I've always been on the give him on the big raise train, and he's going to get one. I'll bet you though, what happens is CDC extends him.
Probably so.
It feels like that's the kind of guy he is, and he's probably going to extend him. And if so, I'm not gonna at this point. I'm not gonna hate it as much as I would have if you'd have done it. Whenever people were actually whenever his agent really did float it earlier in the year, right? When I was like, no. You can't extend a Big 12 coach into the SEC. You just can't do it. I do think that he's he's deserving of a lot of money. Thank you very much, Hacker. Of course, he's saying to hit that like button. It is of course free. If you could like the show, subscribe to the channel, man, it means a lot to us. Let us know whether you're flying or whether you're driving to New Orleans. Any stories about that stuff? I think Blake had the real G tip, dude. Stopping there at Lake Charles. I forget is there a Harrah's there? I forget where I always go.
There's a Harrah's in New Orleans for sure that I've been to. I don't know if there's a Harrah's in Lake Charles. There's a Golden Nugget and the LeBerge and a few.
Oh, that's it. What's it called? LeBerge?
I don't know if it's LeBerge. It's French, maybe. I don't know.
Well, my business partner, Trash Man, his old man, like he comes from Beaumont, and so his old man goes over there all the time, and he has a he has like a VIP card there, and so whenever we would go out to sometimes when we go to the Senior Bowl, we stop there for one night to stay. His dad would hook it up, man. That's a fun place to play. They have good poker rooms with nice low limits on some of their no limit hold'em games.
Well, and all those casinos have sports books now that it's legal in Louisiana. So
right. Oh gosh, man, that fan friend trip to New Orleans is good. That's going to be fun as hell.
It's a blast. I did it in 2018. It was just phenomenal.
But what Sark was saying was that this kind of, and for Sark, this has been his hobby horse because he doesn't want to admit what we all know is kind of true, and that's that it's not optimal to have Ohio State and Michigan on your schedule for the next 4 years whenever you have to play against the SEC the whole time. Whenever the SEC has showed us this year that a team like Georgia can run the gamut and not have any of that stuff going on and still not have it count against them at all, right? I still think that's true. If it were up to me and I could wave a magic wand and I could take those games off the schedule, I would absolutely do it. It's like, I always talk about the Meat Eater podcast, Blake. Steve Ranella, anytime they get talking about the feral pig problem, right? And it's not just here in Texas. It's all over. I mean, they have feral pig stuff all over, right? But the pigs are they taste delicious, right? People sometimes will pay to hunt them. They cause a lot of land damage, all the rest of it. And Steve always asks, if you could just wave a magic wand, if you had a magic wand, you're king of the universe, and you could just get rid of all the pigs, even with all the stuff that you just told me about about how they're killing, they're just decimating, ground nesting birds, right? They're killing all the have fun trying to find a quail hunt in Texas these days. Good luck to you. Even though they're causing all this property damage, they're little monsters, but you could wave a wand and get rid of them. Would you do it? And almost everybody's like, nah, I wouldn't do it. I like having an animal I can hunt all year round and they taste delicious. It's
for the fun of it.
It's like, but I'm being serious. I don't even have that feeling about these games, right? Like I know that they seem kind of fun. It seems fun to play Ohio State and Michigan and all the rest of this, and have it integrated in with your SEC schedule. You hand me that wand. I'm not saying no. I'm waving that thing. I am getting him off the schedule. Sark has had a different. He's had to take a different tack to that, right? Because there is no magic wand. There isn't one. He's playing them, and so for him, it's time to figure out. What
you're saying, you would take the big dogs off the non-conference?
I would wave the magic wand and get him the heck out of here. Yes.
Well, if that were the case this year, Texas doesn't make the playoff. Now that'll change with 12 teams.
And so that's what Sark's saying too.
Yeah.
He's saying not only did it help us, right? And because remember, I'm not retroactively waving it. No. I'm not retroactively. I'm not waving it back here. Like I'm waving it out into the future. Right. Yeah. No. I know that Texas can't lose the Alabama game, and so Texas can't not have that on their resume.
If they didn't play that, they're 5.
Yeah. Sure. And the season all right. So on one hand, you have the fact that game in and of itself changed the team fundamentally. Mm-hmm. That game took the team, and it was like their what is it? I don't know what to call it. It's like the ritual of like becoming a man. You know what I mean? Like it's like it turned them into something that they weren't before. It gave them a sense of confidence, right? Mm-hmm. It let them know it's like we can hang with anybody. But also, it also gave them the feather in the cap for the committee, right? Hey, Cody, I see your super chat. I'm sorry, man. Just let me finish this thought, and then we'll get to those. But he said also Alabama got in. And Alabama took on that tough out-of-conference game. You know, we don't think about it from that angle, right? We don't think about it from the angle. It's like, well, what if you play that game and then lose? Like, Alabama shows that doesn't wreck your season. You can still make it to the CFP.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I thought that was an interesting take from Sark. Now, he has to have that take because he doesn't have the magic wand. None of us do. Would you wave the magic wand to get rid of the hogs? All feral hogs? Farmers out there would just say, like, Blake, please wave that.
Yeah, I definitely would.
I think we'd probably be better off without. But there's part of me that wouldn't want to lose the hogs. I don't know. I
the hogs.
The only property I own, like, I lease the places that I home. I mean, the only property I own is just what is right here around my house, and they haven't gotten here yet. Once they do, I'll probably be there with you, wanting to wave that magic wand. Okay. What is Cody's super chat again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got a few super chats here. Let's start with Money B real quick. Did we hit this one? We need D-Hawk back on. I don't know what it's like. We need D-Hawk back on for a victory lap. He said to bet on Bama.
Do you know when D-Hawk's going to come back on? Whenever he wants. He's not a guest that gets scheduled, man. I get DMs from D-Hawk, and like these times he's come on, he's like, "Hey, man, are you on at 3:30 today?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, cool." He's not even asking, like, you know, is there space for me to come on? He's just like, "Oh, all right, cool." I'm like, "All right, cool. I'll Blake send you the link, and you can hop on whenever you want." So yeah, if Wink comes on, I'm sure that he will do it. Let's see. Hackers saying $2 answer: driving and just taking the fifth wheel trailer. Oh, I didn't know you had a. Hold on, Hacker. You're rich. You got a fifth wheel, brother? You never told me that you left Westlake High School and got so rich. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Fellow chaparral, doing great things in life. I would love a fifth wheel. Cody Carpentier, thank you, brother. But golly, you could just text me. You don't need to send super chats, man. Buy or sell. The SEC will have top 3 ranked in week 1. Well, I think it has to. I think that. If that's going to mean Texas has to play Alabama in the national championship, I can't believe I'm saying it. We're one game away from Texas playing Bama in the national championship.
Let's talk about the other game for just a second, or we can do it on the other side of this break. But Michigan, Bama, what is your gut on that? You think Bama rolls? That's what I think.
Look, man, let's just talk about that next.
I'm assuming we get number 2 next, and I'm assuming obviously that would be Washington, unless they want to get kooky and go to the bottom and like give us 6. But I'm assuming we get number 2. Oh, they're going to say it and then cut away to Harbaugh. They cut away to Jim Harbaugh watching, and now we see the clap reaction in Indianapolis. So we are really slow burning this one. Michigan's won. Jim Harbaugh is clapping and sending someone to all 3 of the prospective
Harbaugh had
opponents.
the signals before the announcement was ever made. Like,
yes, he did.
Knew.
Yeah, well
He
played.
hired someone to be in the room, to buy a ticket to be in the ESPN production room.
The number 2 team we would assume is next. It is, and it's Washington. All right, there's no shock. 2 undefeateds, 2 that we knew if they're undefeated and they win, they get in. They're in. Michigan's in the 1-4 game. Washington is in the 2-3 game. DeBoer and his crew, well-deserving, like Jason said, beat Oregon twice. Now, this may be Texas next. This may be the moment, Texas fans, you've been waiting on, because number 3 would be next. Number 3 is next. If it's Texas, then all this hard work, this is why you lift those weights. This is why you do all that
and
shit.
Washington's not having a party, so we don't have to
cutting away
the
the
cutaway
Washington
shot.
Exactly. Could it be Texas? Could it be Texas at number 3? It's got to be the next thing they announce. This could be Texas. Or is it going to be Bama? Or is it going to be Florida State because they're undefeated and they're really weird and they're going to put them at 3? We'll see. Michigan won.
Put Georgia
2.
5.
Texas is in. Texas is in. This just in. Texas is in. They are the 3 seed. Texas and Washington will have a rematch. It's probably, well, I don't know if it's going to be Rose Bowl or not. We'll have to, it may be Atlanta.
That's going to be a fun game. That should be a fun
They're
game.
in. They're about to show the reaction. They just went crazy. Phones are being utilized in Austin, Texas to video and take pictures. Things are being thrown. Anwar Richardson is probably being pushed and pulled. Steve Sarkisian is looking very excited. Texas is in. Congratulations, Longhorn fans. You put on the show you needed to put on. The Undertaker gave viewers a belt, and the committee couldn't say no to you.
Oh man, that must have been fun to watch, man. To answer Cody's question, I think your original question, Blake. Again, football with friends here. Alex Dunlap, Blake Skaggs. If you guys could please remember to like the show, like and subscribe to the channel. We certainly appreciate it. If you have questions for me, if you're interested in sponsoring the show, any of that stuff, you can email alex@rosterwatch.com. Comments, concerns. What else, Blake? What else can they send? Photos, man. Photos are like, photos of fishing with your kids and stuff, man. We definitely want to see it. Okay. For one, I think Bama is very, very good.
Yeah.
I think Michigan's good too. But I just think I think in the end, Bama's the more physical team. And if you want to get into this thing where it's a Blake Corum sort of like if you're not, it feels like they'd have to get a little bit away from some of their bread and butter to be able to counteract some of the stuff that Bama's going to be able to do against them. Bama, to me, has become more of a balanced team as Milrow's gotten better, and they just have they have the horses, man. It's like it's every position. I know it's similar at Michigan, but no place is like Bama as far as this is concerned. So. Admittedly, I've seen a lot more of Bama. I've watched a lot more of their games than I've seen of these Big Ten games. But, I mean, like, I just want to look at – I mean, and if you look at –
real quick, I'm just going to say, give me Milrow over McCarthy and give me Saban over Harbaugh with time to prepare. That's it for me. I think Bama wins.
Yeah. And, I mean, some of this I guess maybe one of the things that I kind of have stuck – I have some of these games stuck in my head – that I don't think that we finished the year thinking that Penn State was all that great a team as people thought to start the year. And I remember that game being so close with Michigan. And look, some of these games are going to be close. I mean, Texas lost to OU. Like, I understand some of these games. Bama lost to Texas. Like, I understand some of these games are going to be close. You have some losses. And I also have the game. Was it Maryland who they barely beat? Was it Maryland before Harbaugh could come back?
Oh. Yeah, what game was that?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was at Maryland on Saturday, November 18th. I don't know, man. Give me Bama. And so if Bama gets through, and Texas is favored to get through, I think Texas has a better than a coin flip chance to beat Air Penix and Greg McAllister's purple dogs leaders. Yeah, but yeah. So Texas would. So the winner of that game would be 1-2, and then would they put Georgia 3? I don't know.
The thing I'm thinking about too is like, do these teams lose big pieces? Penix is gone after this year, right? Or can he come back another year?
Well, I think he can, but he's not going to.
Right, he's gone. So. Does that hurt Washington in next year's rankings a little bit? Maybe.
Wait, how old is Jordan Travis?
Oh, that's a good question.
Jordan Travis says college career's over after injury.
And this is the question we're talking about here. Cody's from earlier Super Chat.
Yeah.
SEC will have the top 3 ranked in week 1.
Yeah. Okay. So
Penix is a man. He's 30.
Greg McAllister saying number 1 Washington versus Michigan. The North will win it. It's okay, dude. Greg McAllister, just answer me this question: have you or have you not liked the show yet? That's all I want to know. I want to ask Greg McAllister. Just forget about the Air Penix stuff. Forget about number 1 to start next season. Just answer me this question: have you yet liked the show? Okay. Oscar Elizondo, so good to see you again, my friend. Fly to New Orleans, driving in Louisiana at night is scary as hell. Oh gosh, what could ever make it scary? I mean, all they have is drive-through daiquiri barns on every corner.
Yeah.
and
a bridge that lasts like 60 minutes.
And a federal government who won't help them with their roads. It's like, well, I've always wondered, man, if I lived in Louisiana, I'd be even more tilted to pay these federal cockamamie income taxes than I am here in Texas. Dude, I would. I'm like, you guys give us no money even for our roads, and our bridges are all falling apart and everything like this. Yeah. Okay. Hey, where's Greg McAllister? Have you clicked the like button on the show? I've been watching. So it's a good show. So
there we go.
Have you clicked the like button? That's all I want to know. Okay. All right. Dylan Gabriel transfer portal. I can't say I saw that coming. Maybe I guess are we just in a new age of college football to where if you have a young stud quarterback who has been there for a year that's not named Arch Manning, whose family is clearly okay with him waiting a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. If we just gotten to the point to where it's like you're gonna like, even if you're really good like Dylan Gabriel, where you're just gonna kind of get shootout of there, shootout, whatever it is. I mean, is that just what it is? And I think so. He's obviously gotten a soft landing because there's no doubt he's gonna go with Jeff Lebby.
Yeah, right? Mississippi State. Yeah.
So I mean, that's the way he's going to position this. But in all these things, you guys it's like these mutual breakups. The feeling was mutual. Half the time, like some dude is just sitting there, just completely dusted and like heartbroken, and it's like mutual my rear. But I'm not gonna go around saying I got dumped. This one, this is one where you can make a case of kind of feeling pretty mutual, right? Gabriel's good. Jackson Arnold's like, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem moving forward. Like, I'm not here to blow smoke and say that guy's not going to be any good. No, do you remember watching his highlights? They're almost like Deion Burks level sick. I can't get Deion Burks has Purdue highlights. Have you watched him, Blake?
No, I haven't seen
his highlight plays from this season. He's fast and he's a beast, dude. He's not that big. I'd like to know how much he weighs. They have him listed as 5'11", 195. He can put on some, but he can put on some weight. I think you don't want to put on too much weight because he's the fastest guy on the field, man. But he has contact balance, like. And I know their bodies are different, but and it might just be the helmet, but it reminded me like a bigger Rondale Moore, like this guy that's got this acrobat, this physique of a acrobat kind of thing, but he doesn't have the BMI of Rondale, because remember Rondale's like 5 foot. I mean, I've stood next to him. He's like he's shorter than me. Smaller. But this dude. He's got that same kind of where he bounces off. He bounces off people in the open field. It isn't just like he's just elusive because of his change of direction, his cuts, and his outright speed. If he runs into somebody, he bounces off like a dang pinball. It's just crazy, man. Very, 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 very good. Major Alexander's asking in super chat, who's going to be the new LB's coach? Man, I don't know. I mean, the names are. There's been stuff in chat where people are trying to, or in our Slack where there's some names beginning to bubble up, but I'm not going to like that stuff that guys like Onwar are working on pretty hard. Yeah. And I'm not going to steal like
Charlie Strong.
Yep. I don't wish my job was to have to call people and try and find like, of course, sometimes I'll have news from sources and things like that, but it's usually about like, the people who I know, like scouts and personnel guys and stuff like that. Anwar's our reporter.
Yeah. Congrats to Jeff Choate, by the way, though. That is just a fantastic dude. I don't know if all the fans really got to know who he is, but coming from Montana State as the head coach of that program, coming down here, just a good dude like me and Alex. Just,
Is he?
he really is. I've met his son, like really good people.
And does he? Now, my question is he up? Like, do you think he's up there at a level with Val Garcia? Because Val Garcia is going to sell your house for free in the DFW area. Look at Val. Look at Val. Oh, he's got a dude. Val has a smile on his face like that today. Going to the CFP. I guarantee you, Val is looking up plane tickets to get to the. Val's going to have a great time at the Sugar Bowl, and the reason he can afford it is because he sells a ton of houses in DFW, top 25%, and he's one of us. He's probably here in the chat right now. Is Val Garcia, and he'll sell your house for free. If you work in education, if you work in the ministries, he's not going to charge you a thing. Usually they charge you 3% of the price of your home to sell it. 3%. Guys, we're talking 10K, 20K, 30K. That if you know somebody in DFW selling their home, buying a new home, he's going to do it for free. He gave up over $60,000 in his fees last year just to give money back to people who work in those fields. But listen, you don't have to. Let's just say you're like, but Alex, I lay asphalt for the county. Okay, it's fine. Just tell him that you heard about him on Football with Friends, Val Garcia, at Val and Realty, and Val Garcia will sell your house for half price. Simple as that. It's like no promo codes, no nothing. Just say, hey, Val, heard about you on Alex and Blake's show, man. Football with Friends. He'll say, all right, man, that's great. And he'll want to talk some Longhorn football with you. Then he'll say, like, all right, but let's get down to business. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about how we can help. Let's talk about the market right now, what I'm seeing, what we need to be doing, how we need to get this thing done to sell your house for the most and get you into something new that you and your family are going to love. All right. And that's what Val is going to do for you. He's one of us. Again, Val Garcia at Val and Realty. Hey, guys, just go to valandrealty.com. Check it out. You can also call him 469-647-8729. And most importantly, if you just know somebody in DFW who is thinking about buying or selling, just have them call Val. It's there's no commitment. Just let me prove it to you. The kind of guy that Val Garcia is at Val and Realty. Great sponsor, great dude, man. Awesome.
Hey, and if we're gonna get back to a little bit of portal talk here, there's only one way we can do it.
Round one. Fight! Finish him.
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't even know about that. We're not gonna, dude. We're gonna have to sign off early today, so we still have the defensive grades to get to tomorrow. Football junkie, I'm so sorry, brother. Like we'll go over the whole defense tomorrow. This has been too much. I'm glad that I'm glad that we have this much to talk about. And my whole idea where we're gonna go through and rank the transfer portal positions. We already have a show for tomorrow, Blake. We already have a show for tomorrow.
You're in the playoff, Alex. We got shows for months.
But that'll be fun, and it'll also give me more time to think about that because I was just gonna do it on the fly. I think if you give me a little more time to think about it, I could be maybe a better presenter of this stuff if I'm not just winging it. Like I guess I just wing it anyway. Let's see. As far as the portal,
Walter Nolan, man. Walter Nolan is in the portal.
I mean, I know what people are going to say about Nolan. They're going to say, dude, Alex, everybody in the country is all over this guy. Everybody, how you ever compete? How are you ever going to do any of this? And to that, I say, dude, just point at the interior defensive line. Just point at them. Say, do you see these guys? Do you see the development of these guys? Have you seen it year after year after year after year? What we were able to do was shaping Keandre Coburn's body. What ended up getting Morwa Jomo drafted. He got drafted to a bad spot with the Eagles. God bless him. He's got to be behind all those monsters, but still, he got drafted. He made the team. He's on the active roster. That's big. That's big time development. As far as the money, you saw what Evan Stewart was saying about his NIL. He's saying, like, dude, we got posters. What was that cockamamie thing? He said, "Oh, Snake Lips says that we didn't even." Or what did he say? He called some dude Snake Lips?
No, he called them sliced bread.
Oh yeah, sliced bread, snake lips. Where did I think of that? No, like sliced bread says that we're all multimillionaires. Did they talk about this on Catch and Chad's show? I'm sure they did.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Well, look, here's the tweet though.
Saw it coming freshman year when I didn't get paid $1 from A&M, but sliced bread had y'all thinking we was all millionaires. So is sliced?
No, Chad explained this to me.
Okay, can you explain it for me and anybody else that might not?
A little bit. Basically, it was a Jimbo Fisher press conference where he referred to, I think he referred to people in the media as sliced bread reporting that players are making all this kind of money or something like that. Sliced bread it's just like a random person in the media who had been hyping up all the NIL money that like players were getting paid at A&M.
Okay, so it was okay. So, but so I don't know who the person is.
There was like a rumor.
Some people are saying it's like a random poster on. Was it somebody on TexAgs just named?
Maybe it was. Maybe that's who it was. I don't know who it was directly in reference.
It's like their version of, and I'm not saying like El Mexico or any of these dudes aren't legit, but certainly on Orange Bloods you have posters who, whenever they post things, that generally
in reference to this one, where the poster, whoever it was, had said that like Texas A&M had raised $30 million in NIL funds for players. Evan Stewart was basically just saying that's not the case.
Look, man, we'll talk about it when we do the whole portal breakdown tomorrow, okay? But it's just important. It's look. I mean, hold on, wait. Why is this even? So 24/7 Sports is saying Arch Manning is expected to remain at Texas via.
I saw it.
I mean,
clicks.
Dude, Alex needs a haircut, according to Blake. It's like, I mean, what are we doing here? Like, when was Arch ever? I mean,
they posted that tweet that we talked about it on the show.
That says Sark is considering staying at Texas, right? They just like he's leaning towards staying. So Tavondre Sweat leaves, Byron Murphy leaves. If Trill Carter leaves, I don't think it really matters, right? But Blake, Sydir Mitchell again only plays 4 snaps and gets 1 run stuff and 1 tackle. Can you believe this guy? He's played 14 snaps this season. We put together the regular season and the Big 12 championship. He's had 4 tackles and 1 run stuff on 14 snaps. That's just crazy, man.
That's wild.
So anyway, but Sweat we know is gone. Murphy we know is gone. Trill Carter could be gone. And Texas brings back, God help us, Zach Swanson, Aaron Bryant, number 53, Sydir Mitchell, who's going to be better than most people thought, and Vernon Broughton, who was a goose egg production-wise in the Big 12 championship game and who clearly gets pushed off the line of scrimmage quite a bit. It's like if you could get a JD, if you could get a guy like Nolan, right? If you could to be completely clear, you should throw whatever amount of money at him that he wants. Whatever it is that he wants. It's a giant hole. You can't go into next year with, especially if Alfred Collins leaves.
He was the second-ranked prospect in the entire country at any position in his recruiting class, and
it is completely gutted. It has completely gutted the A&M fan base. If this could even be a possibility, It is. It has. It's a giant blow to the reputation of Elko and everything like that. He needed to do everything that he could. How did he not keep Homeboy and let him go off to Syracuse? How did he not do that? Do you have any idea like how he could?
I really don't. I asked Chad the same thing. I really don't.
He's a donk, dude. He's a donk. I'm glad A&M hired him. Yeah.
This was the whole point of bringing in Elko, right? And trying to keep Elijah Robinson and keeping Walter Nolan and keeping the band back together, the recruiting band that Jimbo had built. Now it's falling apart. And man, that program, it's going to be a complete rebuild.
Dude's a total donk, man. It's really looks really bad to start. He could be a good coach, man, but this is bad. But look, it could be an opportunity for Texas. I know that Texas wasn't necessarily in it to begin with because it always seemed like if he's going to go to one of these Texas schools, it was going to be A&M. It was all these SEC schools. He's visiting Florida, he's visiting A&M, visiting Alabama, A&M, Tennessee, all this stuff, right? Tennessee guy, SEC guy. Texas is SEC school now, man. Texas has more money than these others. They have more money than these others. And do you know what the thing? The Texas players, what you hear from behind the scenes is with players talking to other players, and they say like no, that they actually pay you, right? They actually pay you. They don't give you the stuff where like, hey, sign those 800 helmets, and you might make 10K, if we sell them all, But you told me I'd get 10K in NIL. He's like, well. I mean, if we sell all the helmets, you'll make 10K. Like it isn't like that at Texas, right? It's a direct deposit. Mm-hmm. So, like, you can't. Alfred Collins needs to come back. He needs to come back for his own good. I kind of think he will. It felt like Sark was leaning towards kind of saying that he was kind of really, really going for that. And Alfred Collins hadn't been great this year. But to be fair, T'Vondre Sweat wasn't T'Vondre Sweat the year before this last year. Alfred Collins could make a similar jump. Will it be anything like Sweat? Probably not. No, you can't. I mean, that doesn't always happen. This year's been magic, dude. So, I mean, dude, we're looking at a team that's going to the CFP. It's like, I mean, it's just things don't always come together perfectly like they did for Texas to get to this point. We talked at every step. I can't believe we've gone through this whole thing together. We talked at every step about intentionality in each step and understanding where you are, understanding where you're going. And ultimately, this was the ultimate destination. And like, here we are. It's like they've done it, but it's taken intentionality at every step. But like we talked about, it also takes luck along. It takes things happening that you might not have foreseen happening. And here's the thing: that's not always luck, right? It's like my dad always said. It's like the most important thing is just showing up and going to work. And sometimes this good stuff just happens. Like you put yourself in position to be lucky. It's just like, you give it's like, you put more volume and luck. Eventually you're going to get lucky. Things are going to happen. They're going to fall into place, right? When you're doing things the right way and you're being intentional. So it could happen for Sweat. I mean, it could happen for Collins the same way that it happened for Sweat. If he comes back and you bring in a guy like Nolan, I think that's worth like a $3 million investment. Like it truly is, man. And then you give guys like Aaron Bryant he needs time. Trill Carter, I don't even really know. Vernon Broughton, I mean, the jury's still sort of out about him. Maybe he could take another step. But if you're depending on it being Vernon Broughton and Aaron Bryant next year, with Trill Carter possibly coming back, people might shrug off the idea of Nolan. They might say, look, Texas isn't going to be in on him. There's too many people going after him. It's like, who cares? There's too many people going after him. You're one of the best teams in college football. You're certainly one of the richest. You're certainly positioned in a way. Sark was asked today. He's saying, hey, Sark, do you think the fact you're in the CFP is going to help in recruiting? Sark's like, he can't just say, well, yeah. But of course it is. I can't believe it, Blake. We got a dog. He's a good boy. He's got to get trained to learn where this invisible fence is. So we are going to leave it there. We'll be back tomorrow. We get into the defense. We're going to rank these transfer portal spots. And who knows, by then we could possibly even have more news. To the chat, we love you guys. It would not be a show without you. We can't thank you enough for coming back every day to watch us here on Football with Friends, 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. Central. It's a big week, dude. It's a big time of year, dude. It's a championship Monday. It's a victory Monday. It's a CFP Monday. Gosh, I can't believe it. For Blake, I'm Alex.